So today I wanted to talk about emotional identity, and a tool that I will offer you as a suggestion for self-awareness is to map out your emotional identity. You know, when people say things like you have to change your personality to change your personal reality, that's very true, and everybody seems to know this conceptually and intellectually. But if something in your life that you would like improvement in is not changing, whether it's a bodily condition, um, whether it's an emotional thing like having panic attacks, whether it's a financial thing, improving your financial life, I would seriously ask myself, right, what is the part of my personality that's creating this deficit, this lack? So, for example, and by the way, when you ask this question sincerely, you will know the answer. So let's say it's panic attacks that you're trying to change, or a medical condition. If you were to sit down and say, what is it about my personality? What do I think and feel about myself? What do I believe, right, that's creating this condition? So if I have panic attacks, is it because I worry all the time? Is it because I'm scared all the time? Is it because I feel radically out of control in my life? I feel powerless. And so, right, the panic attack is a manifestation of my powerlessness. If you can identify, right, the cause, the aspect of your personality that's creating that condition, then you can change it, right? So if it's fear and worry that's creating panic attacks, the antidote would be courage. The antidote would be calling upon the lion medicine. It would be strength. It would be walking around and deciding to tune into the frequency of strength, right? So there you would actually change your personality from worry to strength, from worry to certainty. Certainty, it doesn't mean I know exactly how everything's going to play out. Certainty means whatever plays out, I can handle it, right? I can handle it. Whatever happens in my life, I can choose to believe that I can handle it, period. So it's interesting when you look at medical conditions, right? And everybody has a theory about, well, if it's in this body part, it means this, and if it's digestion, it's about this, and there's a lot of truth to that. But if you just ask yourself, you know, this is a very personal, subjective reality. If you ask yourself, what is it about me that creates digestive difficulty? What is that thing of my personality? What is that? And you know what? For you, it might be like, I really don't accept myself as I am. Like, just if you do this like almost like an automatic writing, free writing, you put the question at the top and really want to know the answer to the question without any bias. Just really want to know the answers to the question and just write. It'll tell you. So let's say you have digestive issues and the cause is, wow, I really don't approve of myself. I really don't accept myself. I really don't like how I try so hard to be perfect and I'm not perfect, right? Maybe it's perfectionism. Maybe it's the pursuit of perfectionism that causes the condition, right? So what's the antidote? Radical self-acceptance. I am, from the soul's perspective, right? We only have, in terms of perspectives, we have soul, or what Abraham Hicks calls my inner being, and we have ego. The ego is like, everything's wrong, nothing's right, I'm not in the right place, everything, we have to survive. Let's be in fight or flight all the time. Let's worry all the time. Let's control, manipulate, seduce all the time in order to get what we want. Whereas the soul is like, I have everything I have within me now. All is well. I'm exactly where I should be. Every thought that feels soothing and loving is a thought from the soul. So the antidote to the digestive issue, if it's caused by lack of self-approval, would be tune into the soul. How does your soul feel about you in your life? I'm exactly where I need to be. I try my best and that's enough, right? All those loving, soothing thoughts are true. And wow, even me just saying it out loud in this video, I felt a shift in my body, right? Because maybe there's part of me that really doesn't approve of where I am right now. That's telling, right? And I'm glad to know this information. So the emotional identity, right? If you really, and the truth is, you can manifest whatever you want with effort. You can make money, you can find a partner, you know, with your looks, with your charm, you can make money with your skills and your intelligence. But if you don't change the personality that is driving all your actions, right? Maybe you're driven to be successful because you feel nothing, you feel like nothing, or you want your parents to approve of you, even if they're not even living anymore. So the reason why intention and who I am being is so much more important is that you can create whatever you want from whatever state of being, but if you're not the person you want to be, you won't enjoy it. And actually, everything you add onto your life, whether it's money, whether it's kids, a partner, more energy equals just more of what you already have, right? So if I get more money, I'm going to amplify whatever's inside of me. And, you know, I heard something really powerful the other day where somebody said, according to Kabbalah, if you're lucky, the Creator will restrict your success until you have completed a certain amount of like ego purification, you know, transformation, correcting your reactive patterning. It will withhold success until you do some or a lot of that. And in the worst case scenario, you will be given success having done none of those things, having not transformed yourself, you know, having not decided to live more in integrity, more as your soul, more as a happy, joyful, unconditional, whole being. Because money or anything that adds energy to your life is just going to amplify, right? If you're a paranoid person, you all of a sudden you get a lot of money, now you're suspicious of everyone. Nobody likes me, everybody's using me, right? You think you're out of control and you feel powerless and you have kids. Oh, now, oh my God, I don't even know if I have the energy to take care of these things, right? It's just going to amplify whatever you have. So it's so important to actually transform yourself so that not only can you create, but you can enjoy what you create, right? You can enjoy who you're being as you enjoy your creations. So the way that you find your emotional identity, and some of these things are subtle, right? Look for, basically, I would call your emotional identity any particular way that you are chronically stressed. Chronically stressed. So anything that you want to change in yourself is a way that you stress yourself out. Whether it's worry, whether it's tuning into your cell phone right when you wake up. If it's part of your emotional identity to be worried, let's say, and let's say there's always something that you're looking for in your email, maybe you're in a lawsuit, maybe you're fighting with a friend, and you're anxiously looking for it on the phone as soon as you wake up. You're already looking for anxiety. Now, of course, you don't have to grab your phone and feel anxiety. You can choose to feel however you want to feel, which is the next level. But to map out your emotional identity, really sincerely ask yourself and track yourself all day long. How am I chronically stressed? How do I look for anxiety? How do I look for a reason to worry? How does my mind literally create drama just so that I can feel that chemical familiarity of stress that I'm so accustomed to? It could be intrusive thoughts. And people say, well, intrusive thoughts, I can't help that. And I say, no, you can. An intrusive thought is kind of just a way for you to recreate a form of chaos. If you don't have chaos in the outer world, right, maybe your childhood was chaotic, you'll create it in your inner world just so that you can still feel like yourself. So part of your emotional identity would be on the edge, walking on eggshells, right? We could call that chaos. So track yourself. How are you looking? Are you always disappointed? When you look at people, especially on social media, when you look at the world, do you use what you see as a reason to feel bad about yourself? Well, that's part of your emotional identity. I'm stressing myself out. Anything that is not wholeness, peace, I am exactly where I should be, not where I should be, I am exactly where I am, and that is perfect. Anything less than that is stress. Oh, I should be there. Oh, I should have that. Oh, I should be different, right? How are you stressing yourself out? Sincerely ask yourself the question. It could be you overthink all day. It could be you don't feed yourself properly. It could be you know that coffee doesn't agree with you and you drink it anyway. It could be that you know that you need more of some kind of nutrient and you're not giving it to yourself. So you're chronically keeping your body in a deficit, which causes you to feel stressed. Really sincerely ask yourself, how do I keep myself stressed? Is it worry? Is it anger? A lot of people they like anger because it gives them some feeling of power, and it protects them from feeling what's underneath anger, which oftentimes is powerlessness, helplessness, shame, and guilt. So do I keep myself stressed by picking fights all day, picking fights with myself, arguing with people in my head? How am I creating stress? Are you guilty all day? So a lot of people aren't aware of how much guilt owns us. It owns us, many of us, right? And it's religious conditioning. It's this idea that if I'm chronically guilty for a mistake I made, for putting my kids through an ugly divorce, for blah, 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 blah. If I'm chronically guilty, then I'm serving my penance and I'm going to earn my way into heaven by being constantly guilty and reminding myself of what a shitty human being I am. Does that sound familiar? It's interesting, when I've done this healing work that I do called Rohan, I've literally seen multiple people draw these compartments in their consciousness, and they'll draw themselves in the drawing looking at a mistake they made or something that they perceive was a mistake. And in that room, they're looking at it all day, every day. I will never forget what a bad person I am. It's self-punishment. Believing I'm a bad person, punishing myself. Anything that is chronic, right? Guilt can be healthy when we say, okay, I acknowledge that I've been wrong, and the guilt is a kind of intelligent thing that lets me know, like, okay, I have a soul, and I don't think it's okay to do X, Y, and Z, to lie, to deceive, to do any number of things that really aren't in integrity with being in the vibration of truth. But if you're riddled with guilt all day, that's the trickster. You shouldn't be riddled with anything all day. You should be happy. You should choose to be happy. I want to say should. You can choose to be happy, and you can choose to proactively review your day and say, okay, I wish I didn't show up that way. I'll do it better now, right? I won't do it again. But the trickster or the opponent or that energy, right, it will make you feel chronically stressed, as if you deserve to be guilty all day. And shame is a little more subtle, and that can be revealed if you track yourself, and because some of this emotional identity isn't necessarily conscious, but if you look for reasons throughout your day to feel bad about yourself, shame is part of your emotional identity. Shame is a really low vibration. It's essentially, it's the lowest self-deception, self-hatred. That's the lowest vibration that exists, because I'm hating the divine. Hating anything is low, but at least when you're hating something outside of you, it gives you more sense of power. It's a higher rate of frequency than hating myself, right? My creative energy crushing in on myself, harming my own subtle body, right? Creating illness in my body. That's right. And that's the energy that creates physical illness a lot of different physical illness, like even like cancer or debilitating things. Because if you're always in an energy of apathy, and apathy could be like, well, I don't really see a point to being alive, right? Apathy could be part of your emotional identity. If you feel kind of flatlined or dead inside all day, and you're like, like nothing really matters, like what's the point of any of this? That's just an emotion that you're in, right? If you can disidentify from it and realize, oh, that's part of my ego stress identity, that's part of my ego identity, it's not me, that's just something I am identified with. By naming it, calling it by name, you disidentify from it. So, but shame, if you look for reasons to feel bad about yourself, if you look in the mirror and think you're ugly, if you step on the scale and use it as a reason to hate yourself, if you make a mistake in your life and you use it as a reason to beat yourself up, shame is part of your emotional identity. It's so important to know this, because people are like, I'm trying so hard, I'm studying so much, I do all these things, why am I not changing? Why are things not changing? It's because you're not fully aware of your emotional identity and the antidote to the emotional identity that would actually change your life. So if it's shame, of course, the antidote is radical self-love. No matter what you're experiencing, no matter what you look like, no matter how much you weigh, no matter if you're stuck in an addiction, no matter if you've tried really hard to change something and it hasn't changed, under any and all conditions, you deserve unconditional acceptance. You deserve love, right? That's the antidote to shame. I accept that I am where I am. My life is eternal. My life is eternal. I am where I am. My process is sacred. No matter what you think of it or what you think of it, it's sacred. And I can own that. I can decide to own that self-worth, that inherent self-worth energy. I can decide to identify with that than with that shame that I've been taught by society. By society, who thinks you just live and die between your birthday and your death day, so you should achieve as much as you possibly can. So find and of course the antidote to guilt is forgiveness and realizing my intention is all that matters. If I'm doing my best, if I care about changing, I'm not going to hurt myself or beat myself up because I made a mistake. I'm not going to feel chronically bad about something I wish I hadn't done, because actually this is something that the ego can get carried away with. But anything that you do, a test that you fail, a mistake that you make, was meant to be failed because the person on the other end of it also co-created it with you. That's not an excuse to go do whatever you want and be reckless. Actually, you should do whatever you want. If you're coming from a good place, you usually want to do the right thing. But the point is that when you make a mistake, right, the person on the other side of the mistake drew that behavior from you, from their own expectations, perceptions, and beliefs. So it's all a perfect co-creation, and it's something that they drew out of you, and you have to know that, or you don't have to know that. You just have to know that you should never be riddled with any stressful emotion all day long. And if you are, call it by name, identify it, and find the antidote. Forgiveness, peace. Anything less than peace is one of these emotional identities, one of these cages. In the work that I do, I call it a cage. So let's boil it down really simply. Kind of like how Dr. Joe Dispenza boils it down. The chemicals of stress create all kinds of stuff in your life. The energies, the psychological energies that create physical stress create all sorts of deficits and chaos in your life. Tell the universe, say it out loud. I want to know this emotional identity. I want to know, am I always angry? Am I pretending like I'm peaceful, but I'm actually raging? It's better that you know that you're raging, that you're seething with rage. It's better that you know that than that you try to cover it up and try to be nice. That's not the antidote. The antidote to rage is not being a nice person. The way to work with rage is to ask, what am I really angry about? What am I really avoiding? The antidote to rage is self-inquiry. Who am I really angry at and why? What am I believing? What am I believing about life, about myself? Right? Rage is often covering up all kinds of other things that if you would give up rage as a defense mechanism and with curiosity go underneath the rage, right? Think of rage in the third chakra. If you go underneath the rage, you'll find probably the part of your identity that you're really hiding from, which is probably shame, probably low self-worth, low self-esteem, and all those things. But staying in rage all the time is very stressful. So I think you have to decide as well. Part of like the antidote to rage is deciding like, this isn't working for me. This is like an addiction to a drug. It's not working for me. It's destructive. It's hurting my body. It's hurting the people in my life. It's hurting, destroying. I need to decide that I'm going to give it up as a power play, and I'm going to feel whatever I need to feel that I'm covering up with that rage, so that I can actually bring love and tenderness to myself, which will actually create my reality in a way that I can enjoy, because it will be coming from a place of wholeness and self-love. So that's my message for today. This is find your emotional identity. Tell the universe, I want to find it. Track yourself, watch yourself. How do you look for feeling disappointed, feeling angry, feeling worried, feeling amped up? anything that is not peace or above, peace and happiness, is a kind of stress that you are choosing because it's part of your emotional identity. Find it. Ask sincerely, what is the antidote? Is it courage? Is it love? Is it curiosity? Is it inquiry? Is it forgiveness? Boom, boom, boom. It's systematic. Just sincerely ask and you'll know the answer. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.